As long as Jessica is living in this house, I don't need you anymore. I won't support you using Jessica's money. Leave right now. I always felt like my mother didn't really care about me. Still, I kept trying, hoping that one day she would accept me. But I was wrong. I lost hope. Toxic parents don't change, so I gave up and left the house. I never thought she would come back later and ask me for help. My name is Laura. I'm 39 years old. I'm still single and living in my parents' house. When I was in my 20s, I wanted to get married. But now, that feels impossible. One big reason is my poor health. I don't have any serious illness, but I often feel sick from small things. I catch colds easily and often get high fevers. Because of this, I can't work full-time. I can only manage part-time jobs, but even then, I sometimes have to take time off when I get sick.
So, I don't have a steady job.
This means I spend a lot of time at home. Recently, I started working from home, which helps since I don't have to travel. But my mother thinks I'm just locking myself in my room. Since we live together, it's hard to tell her to stay out of my business. Because I can't work full-time, I'm thankful I can still live at home. So, I try to put up with her rude comments and stay patient. Even though I live here, I still pay for the utility bills and the property tax. I also cover repair costs for the house. I don't pay for all the groceries, but I do help a lot with the food costs. My father died 4 years ago, and since then, I've taken on these responsibilities so my mother doesn't have to. I also do most of the housework. When I'm feeling sick, I ask for help, but usually I'm the one cooking, doing laundry, and cleaning. Still, my mother complains. She says things like, "How long do I have to take care of a daughter like this at home?" "I didn't raise you to be like this," my mother often says with a look of disapproval on her face. Even though I'm over 31 now, I know it must be hard for her to have me still living at home. But I pay for most of the living expenses and take care of everything around the house when I'm feeling okay. Sometimes I wonder if she really needs to complain so much. I would think her life should be a bit easier now. My father didn't leave us much money, just this house. The pension my mother started getting in her 70s isn't much either. Still, she's able to buy what she wants and enjoy her retirement because of my support. Is it selfish for me to wish she'd see that and appreciate it more? She often says loudly, so I can hear, "Why did Jessica leave this house, and why are you the one still here?" I wish Jessica would come back. Jessica is my younger sister, 4 years younger than me. She's healthy, pretty, and smart. My mother is proud of her and loves to show her off to others. She always compared me to Jessica and clearly favored her. The way she treated us was very different. Our clothes, our meals, even how she spoke to us. To her, it was like I didn't exist. Jessica was her only daughter in her eyes. Even with all that, I didn't rebel. The reason I stayed calm and kept going was because of my father. He would stand up for me and gave me the love that my mother didn't. If he hadn't been there, I don't think I would have made it this far. After he died, my mother seemed lost and started to rely on me. So, even though I wasn't in good health, I worked hard to take care of the house and support her. But now that she's back to her usual self, it feels like all my efforts mean nothing. Almost every day, she asks me, "When are you leaving?" I often think about moving out and living on my own. But then my mother says, "Make sure you send money home every month. You owe me for all the care I gave you." When she says that, it becomes hard for me to leave. She also says, "Even after you move out, you still need to come back and do the house chores. You're not married and have lots of free time, so it shouldn't be a problem." Living alone, while still sending money home and doing housework here, feels impossible. Hearing her complain every day makes my health worse. But even then, I can't seem to leave her. So, in the end, I just live each day feeling hurt by her words. One day, my younger sister came to visit. She brought her 7-year-old daughter with her. I thought they were just visiting after a long time. But then she said something that shocked me. "Starting today, we're going to live here." "What happened?" I asked. "I got divorced and moved out," she replied. "You got divorced?" I was surprised. "That's what I just said," she answered. Living together brought problems. The condo is in my husband's name, so I can't stay there anymore. There were probably a lot of reasons why my sister suddenly got divorced and left her home. She said, "I can quit my hospital job, but there are many other hospitals that need doctors. We'll pay for our own living expenses, so it's fine. Jessica is not only pretty but also very smart. She became a doctor. I'm sure she won't have any trouble finding another job." She added, "I'll be busy working, so I won't be home much. I'll leave the housework to you, big sis." Then, without waiting, she went straight to the living room and said, "I'm starving." She came right when I had just finished making dinner. I rushed back to the living room, but they had already started eating. My mother, sister, and Emma were all sitting at the table. There wasn't even a place for me. My meal wasn't prepared at all. It was like I didn't matter. I had only made enough food for my mother and myself. They must have split that small amount between the three of them. "This is delicious," my sister said happily, not even noticing that I hadn't eaten. "I'm so glad to see you. Eat as much as you want," my mother said to her, smiling. Now that her favorite daughter was back, she was in a great mood, completely ignoring me. My Emma ate quietly, looking tired and sleepy. Watching this, something about the scene felt familiar. Suddenly, memories from the past rushed into my mind. It looked just like it used to when my father was away on business trips. When he wasn't home, my mother would act like I didn't exist. She and my sister would sit at the table and pretend I wasn't even there, not even a seat for me. Remembering that, I felt like crying. I quietly left the house to buy myself something to eat. Unlike in the past, I now had my own money. That gave me a small sense of freedom. As I walked, I thought about my father. Tears ran down my face. And just like that, my life with my sister and her daughter began. It's not that Jessica and I fight all the time, but I know our mother favors her. Jessica also looks down on me. She treats me like a maid, saying things like, "Big sis, clean the room," or "You can handle the chores, I'm working." But while she lies on the couch saying she's working, it doesn't seem like she even has a proper job yet. When I asked her what she planned to do, she got annoyed and said, "It's no use telling you. There are plenty of jobs for doctors. I've been working nonstop until now, just let me rest, okay?" I asked, "But what about paying for things?" "You're so annoying. I'll pay you back once I start working." "Stop nagging me about money," she snapped. I didn't know what to say. Because of how I grew up, it's still hard for me to speak up to my mother and sister. I can't rely on my mother's small pension, and my sister only says she'll help later. Right now, she pays for nothing. So I end up covering all the living expenses alone. I also do all the housework, while they both just lie around. I thought about enrolling my Emma in kindergarten, but they said, "She'll be in elementary school soon. Big sis can just play with her at home." Watching the two of them do nothing, while all the work and responsibility fall on me, I could only sigh. Every day is busy and overwhelming, but I keep going. I was feeling a little unwell, but neither my mother nor my sister offered to help with the housework. Since Jessica moved in, my mother completely stopped doing any chores. Now, she just spends her time chatting and laughing with Jessica. It's like I don't even exist. Why am I the one doing everything when they don't care about me? Even though I try to talk to them, no one listened. Jessica still didn't show any interest in finding a job. When I asked her about it, she just got angry, so I couldn't bring it up again. One day, she said she was going for a job interview and left the house. I felt a little relieved. I went back to my room, sat down, and started reading the newspaper. Then something in the news caught my eye. Can this be real? This isn't a dream, right? I said to myself, surprised by what I was reading. Suddenly, I heard a loud knock at my door. I jumped, startled by the noise. Could it be Jessica? Maybe she was back and wanted me to start making dinner, but it felt too early for that. As I wondered, I heard my mother yell angrily, "Laura, open the door. Hurry up." I had locked the door because I was worried about things getting taken from my room. But her voice sounded so mad that I hesitated to open it. Still, I couldn't leave it locked. When I finally opened the door, my mother stood there with a furious expression. "What have you been doing? You know Jessica went out for a job interview, right?" "Yes, I know," I said. "Then if you know, get out of this house right now." I was shocked. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. What do you mean? I asked. Don't make me say it again. Get out. I couldn't believe it. My own mother was telling me to leave. Why should I leave? I asked, confused. You're not needed anymore. You're really slow to understand, aren't you? Even though I had taken care of the house, even when I felt sick, even though I had done so much for this family, now she was acting like I meant nothing. What are you even doing? She continued. You just stay in your room and pretend to be sick so you don't have to work. I am working from home, I said. I help pay for things and I do all the chores. But she didn't care. People who are useless are no longer welcome here, she said firmly. I stood there, unable to say anything. Her words hit me hard. As long as Jessica is here, I don't need you anymore. I'm not going to support you using Jessica's money.
Leave. Now.
Hearing those words, something inside me broke. Everything I had done meant nothing. Both my mother and sister could throw me away so easily. Finally, I understood. I came to a realization, or maybe it was more like something I had known all along. There was no point in hoping my mother and sister would understand me or care about how I felt. Wishing for anything from them was useless. I understand. I'll leave the house, I said. At that moment, I imagined my father's face in my mind. Is it okay to end it like this, Dad? Did I do my best? I asked him silently in my heart. It felt like he gently nodded, as if to say yes. That gave me the strength to make my decision. I would leave the house. Right away. It's a relief, my mother said coldly. I never needed a daughter like you in the first place. But her harsh words no longer hurt me. I was finally going to be free. I had no reason to stay, no regret, and nothing left to hold on to. I quietly nodded and started packing my things. Everything moved fast after that. I found a new place to live very quickly, and luckily, it had everything I needed. I signed the rental contract right away and started planning my move. When the moving day came, my mother said, finally, the nuisance is gone. Don't ever come back, and laughed. Jessica also laughed and added, enjoy your poor, lonely life. Don't even think about asking us for money. Family is no different from strangers. I didn't say anything back. I simply said goodbye and walked away from that house. My new life turned out to be much better than I expected. It felt like my old life in that house was just a bad dream. I was living peacefully, without problems. I didn't get sick as often anymore. I still got the occasional fever, but my health was much better than before. Just when I thought these quiet days would continue, I got a phone call from my mother. Laura, can you help me? I didn't know what had happened, but I agreed to meet her. We decided to meet at a cafe near the station. What could have happened? It had only been 3 months since I moved out. Did something go wrong at home? Worried, I walked to the cafe. When I got there, I saw my mother already sitting at a table. What's so urgent? I asked as I sat down. Please, I need your help, she said in a soft voice. Her face looked troubled as she leaned in closer. Explain properly, I said, a little sharper than usual. Maybe she wasn't expecting me to speak so directly, because suddenly she started crying. Jessica has been terrible, she said. I can't live with her anymore, my mother said, almost yelling. She was sniffling and crying. She lied about going to job interviews. She wasn't going at all. What do you mean, lied? I asked, confused. Still crying, my mother explained. Instead of going to interviews, Jessica was going out to have fun. I heard she was secretly meeting a man. What? I was shocked. But my mother kept going. She wasn't even working after she got married. She told everyone she was working at a hospital, but that was a lie. She was seeing another man behind her husband's back. When he found out, they got divorced. Now they're fighting over who will take custody of their daughter. Is that really true? I asked. It's shocking, right? She said. It really was. I never imagined my sister wasn't actually a doctor. But at the same time, something about it didn't surprise me. During the time we lived together, I noticed Jessica always avoided anything difficult and had too much pride. It was hard to believe she could keep up with this stressful life of a doctor. Was it possible she had never worked since getting married? And how did her husband not find out for so long? She got divorced because he finally caught her lies. Did she really think she could just spend his money forever and not get caught? I didn't know what to say. Jessica had been so careless. And now, can she even pay the divorce settlement? I asked. She says she can't, my mother replied. And now she's saying you should pay it for her. I couldn't help but laugh at how ridiculous that was. My sister had no plan to work, and now she was trying to throw all her problems onto our mother. My pension is tiny, my mother said. And there's almost no money left from your father. We can't pay it. She started crying again. She doesn't help at home either. No chores. No cleaning. Why not? I asked. She never did it even when she was married, my mother said. Her husband didn't know, but she secretly hired a maid. Most of his money was spent without him realizing, and when he found out, everything fell apart. Honestly, it was kind of funny in a sad way. I couldn't help but laugh. Who is she to talk? Mom, you did the same thing, making me do all the housework. Don't compare me to Jessica, my mother snapped. What's the difference? I asked. I was honestly still surprised by how she kept blaming everyone but herself. So, what does that have to do with me? I asked again. Please come back home, she suddenly begged. I'm not coming back, I said firmly. You're clearly trying to throw me away now that Jessica is back. Did you forget how much I did for you at home? My mother's face turned red. Her emotions suddenly exploded when she heard me say no. This is why no one likes you. Even though I took care of you like a mother should, you're so ungrateful. I stayed silent and quietly reached for the glass of water on the table. You have no right to refuse, she yelled. You need to come back, clean the house, and help out with the money. Stop complaining and hurry up. I couldn't take it anymore. With one quick move, I splashed the water from my glass onto her. In that instant, she went completely silent. The whole cafe became quiet. You could only hear the sound of water dripping. Her face was frozen in shock. Sorry, I said calmly. My hand slipped. As I spoke, I reached for her glass. She opened her mouth like she was going to say something, maybe to stop me. Too late. I splashed her again. The water hit her face and went into her mouth. She started coughing. Cough, cough. What are you doing? Oops. Slipped again. Sorry, I said, pretending to be innocent. A waiter started coming over. I quickly apologized and used a towel to wipe the table. The waiter brought a mop and cleaned the floor. After saying sorry again, I turned and looked at my mother. She was still staring at me, shocked and speechless. I tossed the towel I was holding onto her. Why don't you wipe yourself off? I said. What's wrong with you? I'm soaked. I could catch a cold like this. So, what if you catch a cold? I said coldly. What did you just say? That's how I always felt, I said. I was always cold. I was always shaking inside. She kept shouting, but I didn't back down. I raised my voice too, refusing to let her overpower me again. The cafe went quiet once more. I felt a little bad that it had turned into a scene, but I knew I had to say what I needed to say. I lowered my voice, looked my shocked mother in the eyes, and began to explain. When I was a child, I always had to bathe in cold water. I could only use small towels, and using a hairdryer was not allowed. I was always shivering. Even after I grew up, nothing changed. Things were a little better when Dad was home, but when he wasn't, it got even worse. And after he passed away, you know exactly what happened. You still only let me use small towels. You never let me use a hairdryer. No wonder I was always sick. That's the truth. But since I started living on my own, I haven't been sick even once. At first, I thought it was just because I wasn't stressed anymore from living with you and Jessica. But now I understand. It wasn't just the stress. The real cause was you. Who would want to return to a home with someone like you? I said. I took care of you all these years. So, of course, you should listen to your parent, she snapped. Like I said, you didn't take care of me at all, I replied firmly. She started to stumble over her words. I don't remember you raising me. It was Dad who raised me. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here today. What you did wasn't care, it was abuse. That's not true, she said. After Dad died, I worked hard for 4 years. I did all the housework, even when I was sick. Did you ever once care about my health? It's because of me that you were able to live comfortably, she tried to argue.
No.
It was thanks to me, Laura. That's why I'm not coming back, I said. I understand, but still, she began again. At that point, I knew the conversation was going nowhere. I stood up from my seat. Wait, we're not done talking. Living alone is hard. We could live together, she said, trying one last time. I forgot to mention something, I said, cutting her off. Then I showed her a photo on my phone. What's this supposed to mean? She asked. Look closely, I said. It's a luxury apartment. So what? That's my home. What? My mother stared in shock. That's your place? There's no way you can afford that. Actually, I won the lottery, I told her. What did you say? I always thought my life was miserable, but I guess God didn't forget about someone like me who kept trying to live honestly. Do you remember the day you told me to leave the house? That very day, I saw the winning numbers in the newspaper. I paused and smiled. I thought, can this really be true? Is this a dream? But it wasn't. With that money, I bought this apartment. I still have plenty of money, but I'm saving it carefully and paying for my own living expenses. I don't worry about getting sick anymore, and I'm able to work now. It's only been 3 months, but that was enough for my life to change. My mother had no words. So please, I said, don't contact me again. I have no intention of ever meeting you or Jessica again.
Goodbye.
As I turned to leave, my mother quickly grabbed my arm. Wait, she cried. I'm sorry for everything. Please don't leave me. I looked at her and smiled. Jessica once said that family is really just strangers. So to me, you are now a stranger too. With those words, I walked out of the cafe. My mother was left in shock, completely speechless. A few days later, my mother called again. Let me live with you, she demanded. I said no right away. Then Jessica contacted me. I'm having a hard time with Mom, she said. You should come back, take care of the house, and help with money. I turned her down too. Family is just strangers, right? I said and hung up the phone. Then I blocked both of their numbers. Later, I heard from some relatives that Jessica is still unemployed. She ran out of money to go out and now just stays at home. My mother, who never liked doing housework, let the house become messy. Eventually, my Emma was taken in by her father. With no money left, my mother had to sell the house. It was old and in the countryside, so the land didn't sell for much. My mother and sister moved into a rundown apartment with the little money they had left. But it didn't last long. My mother began asking relatives for money, but even they cut ties with her. Now, she lives a lonely and poor life with Jessica. My sister still refuses to work, probably because my mother spoiled her too much. As for me, I'm completely free now. My life is peaceful. My health is good, my work is going well, and I'm finally happy. Recently, something new happened in my life. Would you consider dating me seriously with marriage in mind? A kind and sincere man asked me. Now, we're in a relationship and we plan to get married next year. I'm going to be happy now, I said to a photo of my father. And in that moment it felt like he smiled back at me.